Like, it's a tremendous amount of sacrifice we have all done in the last 5 years.
As long as you show that you want to do the work, he will do whatever it takes to help you.
He is one of the most disciplined people that I've ever met.
It wasn't one thing more than the other. It was all those pieces put together.
Told him, just do the work, and I promise you, you're gonna make 6 figures. You're gonna have your own apartment. He has everything that we talked about 3 years ago, not because of me, because he did the goddamn work.
In this next episode, I sit down with the owners of MTK Gym. They are some of the hardest workers in the industry and have been able to grow their business from $60,000 to $130,000 in 6 months. We talk about strategies for rapid growth and how they have been so successful. They share strategies on building a team who are just as passionate as the owners and how to leverage the community. You're not going to want to miss this. Neil, welcome to the GSD show. What's up, Edwin?
What's going on, man?
You guys should have been on here a long, long time ago.
You know, it's funny, we were talking about it, and we were like, I remember when you told us about a year and a half ago, and I just told you, I just don't feel it's right, and this and that, and you were like, what are you talking about, this and this? And I told Neil, and he's like, yeah, you know what, not just yet, but this time around, we were like, I think it's time.
So it's not my fault. I did ask you. Because I was
you did ask me. You asked me a couple times.
Thinking, why didn't I ask him yet?
Oh, you
okay,
did.
so I've asked you.
Yeah.
For everybody watching, everybody listening, there's a reason I've asked him several times. These guys are crushing it, period. And you guys have been crushing it. And I'll tell the story of how I met you guys. I remember you were at GSDCON, and you guys were super kind of like spies almost. You were all in black.
Turtleneck.
He had a turtleneck, a black turtleneck, right? Which is great because you fit it well. You had the glasses, the turtleneck, and you guys you took up like half the table because it was you two and a few others.
It was Kim and Jen, yeah.
And I remember like from the stage, you guys were so engaged, paying attention. You were like this, and I couldn't tell if you liked me or if you were annoyed by me or if you were just really interested in the information. But whatever it was, you had my attention. I kept looking back. And then you weren't members of our program, but then you came back again, I think like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times without being a member.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what the holdup was later so I can prove my salesmanship. But you guys, obviously, you came into our program and you were already doing well. Like you guys were already, I think, doing about $60,000 a month, right? So it's not like you guys were like $8 grand, $9 grand. You were already doing 60. You guys already had some good foundation. And then I turned my head and I turned back and you guys were like at 130, 140, like that. It felt like what, 6 months, 7 months? How long was it?
Yeah, it was about 6 months. Yeah, 6 months.
6 months and you double business at a starting point of 60. What are you guys at now?
Right now between both companies, probably about 150.
150 because you just start now. You started the second location. So you got Glendale and you got North Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk about the business. First off, what is MTK?
So basically, it's a Muay Thai gym. It's the art of 8 limbs. You learn how to punch, kick, knee, and elbow, and it's the art form from Thailand.
Wow. So is it there to learn Muay Thai? Like, is it like where if I want to be in a ring, I'm going to learn how to actually fight Muay Thai? Or is it more of like group classes where, like you see kickboxing, classes now, like rock box and all that, where there are 30 people in a room and everyone's just doing the same routine? Is it a hybrid? What does it look like?
I would say it's both. It's a hybrid. We have competitive fighters that fight. We also have, but they're all group classes, right? We're more focused on Thai pads, hitting the Thai pads. So not so much bag work emphasis, you know what I mean? It's more like interacting with people, having a training partner pushing you, and we're working on just different elements, different techniques each day.
What are the roles of the company here between you two?
I oversee all the trainers. I'm the head trainer and I oversee all the trainers, making sure they are working up to standard, to my standard, right? The MTK standard, and giving every customer that great experience.
So the programming, the white glove experience, and the way trainers operate.
Yes.
Awesome.
I've been asked this question multiple times, and for a long time I was like, I'm not really sure what I really do out there, but honestly, I think I just see the potential in everybody and what we could do as a team and just bring everybody together and really sell the vision of what this company could be like and where we could go if we work together and we all, kind of like feed off each other's strengths. And I think that's what's made us a good, partnership between the both of us.
So you lead the business side to make sure the numbers, the stuff on paper that makes a business successful is getting done, and you're making sure that the service that stands behind this business is actually getting done right.
Absolutely.
So those two things work really well together.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So 0 to 60, did you guys go to 0 to 60? Did you buy the gym? Like how did you get to 60?
Okay, so it was a family business. We've been open since 94, and then things were just going downhill. And I told my mom, I was like, I can't run the gym like this the way it is. I was a slave to the gym. I was always there. The members were just slowly diminishing, because there was just no structure. I wanted to make a lot of changes. She wasn't into it. So I said, look, well, I can't do this anymore. And she was like, okay, what do you want to do? I said, I want to bring in a business partner. And she was like, who? And I was like, Edwin. And her response was, Edwin. Now she's Thai. She's got the Thai accent. Let me try to do the best impression of her. She's like, he doesn't know how to run a Muay Thai gym. And but he knows business, Mom, and he will bring the same amount of passion that I do for this gym and the same love for it, because we're friends. We're really good friends. And he just wants to see me win. He wants to see this, and he used to train here. He wants to see this gym grow and to be a part of it. He's like, we can do this. But I told my mom, we had to have that hard conversation. Mom, you can't be a part of it anymore. Just please retire, and hand it over. And when we did that, it allowed me and him just to do whatever it took. You know what I mean?
How does she feel now about the decision?
I think I seen an eyebrow move, because that lady has no expression whatsoever. We're still waiting for her to give us a high five, proud of you or nothing. She just doesn't say anything. She'll come in and she'll just nod her head and just be like, and then walk out.
Wow.
It's really like
she always like that growing up?
Always.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Now, what were you doing before that gave him confidence in saying he knows business?
I think he's seen my growth, because I used to be a student of his. Then I left. I remember having the conversation saying, hey, because I was passionate about Muay Thai for a long time. And I told him, hey, listen, I think I'm going to start doing my own business. I can't train no more. I need to focus on this. I need to let go of this habit in order to focus on this and go all in. And over the years, I think through social media, Facebook and all that, he just saw my growth and things like that. And then I came back and I just wanted to work out, and he had seen me I remember one time I went to go visit him and I bought a Lambo and this and that. And he was just like, what happened to you? And
Bought a Lambo?
Yeah. And I remember I pulled up and I was like, yeah, man, business is great and this and that. And I remember just going back just in 2018 and just going in there and just being like, hey, listen, I want to come and train again. I want to, I'm unhealthy and this and that. And I didn't go in there to, even when I saw the business was doing bad, I never told him hey, I want to be your business partner. I just told him, if you need any help or mentorship, I can help you with what I know.
Hearing that he was going to close or was in the brink of closing, I wanted more to mentor him. I didn't really want to be his business partner. I didn't look at it like that. But when he told me, no, I need more than that, then that's when I came back. And I remember sitting with one of my mentors, and I had dinner, and we were at Larson's, and I told him, hey, listen, I'm thinking of investing into this business. I have my savings and this and that. And he's like, focus on your automotive detailing. Don't get into it. And I was all like, all right. And then I went back, and I'm like, I'm going to get into the business with you. And
I'm pretty good and pretty coachable for the most part, but at the end of the day, just like anybody else, you make your own decision, right? And I just felt something in my heart that just told me, this is a great opportunity. I believe you can go nationwide and make it big. And I just pulled the trigger and went against my advisor.
Wow. He okay with it now?
Oh, yeah. He's seen the growth. He's like, shit, good thing you didn't listen to me.
That's good. Okay. So then you guys came together and you were already at 60. Yeah.
No, we were at 0. We were negative.
So you were negative.
Yeah. So the first year I said, hey, I'm not going to pay myself. And I know you're making 2,000. You got to make 1,500 now a month, by the way. And he's like, I don't know how I'm going to live on that, but I'll figure it out. And at that time he was living in his mom's couch, driving a Ford Focus. And we were a Ford Fusion. Sorry. And it was the best opportunity for us because there was very little overhead aside from the responsibilities at the actual business. But overall, we're like, it's going to take just a lot of labor work, and that's something that whatever we put in, it belongs to us,
Yeah. Okay. So what were some of the changes you made to go from a few $1,000s to $60,000? Because I want to know about that, because I didn't know you guys till 60,000, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't know you till then. So I'm actually curious. What are some of the things that you did to go from the few thousand to 60,000 per month?
I think for sure some of the changes, aside from some of the cosmetic stuff that we wanted to change and brand our name and logo and all of that, was one, I told Neil he had to start consuming knowledge and books and things like that to make him grow and think outside the box and not just be a trainer, to really consume how to become an entrepreneur or a business owner and just kind of get his mindset right. Because I told him that in order for us to succeed, he had to see the vision of, the forecast, of what was coming for us. And he jumped on board right away. And I told him, second, there is no life. Like, we're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to do whatever it takes. And then third, we need a system. And that's one thing that I learned from a mentor of mine. Said any company that runs good, you need metrics and you need systems in order for them to run right. So I started looking at gyms and I'm like, what are successful gyms doing? Equinox, 24-hour fitness and all this. And it was automatic withdrawals, front desk, CRM, charging, accepting all kinds of payments, staying away from, cash and stuff like that, and things that were just automatic. And I was like, all right, I don't know any of this, but that's what we're going to focus and we're going to do that. And that really started to come in because the company already had a name because it's been around so long. It just didn't have a structure of how to hold people and retain them.
And you say you recommended him some books. You remember some of the books that you started out with?
The top 5 for sure: Think and Grow Rich. I think the 10X Rule.
How a Man Thinketh. That was my first one.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a small one too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that was your first one. What do you still remember? What you took away from that book?
Mindset.
Yeah,
mindset, absolutely. And then I know 10X by Grant Cardone was another one that was a very like, oh man, I got to get my stuff together.
So you recommended him some books. You told him, hey, we've got to work. Like, there is no time. What do you say? There's no
tomorrow.
There's no tomorrow. Like, we're working, period. So now when that happened, you started learning about automatic payments and all that stuff. Would you say that stuff was the stuff that really got you there? Were you starting to do stuff with sales? Were you starting to do stuff with marketing? Like, what would you say was the biggest pull to that 60K point?
I really think it was sales more than anything, and obviously the marketing part, we just barely started doing that the last since we met you guys, to be honest with you. But I think the sales part is what we wanted to get good at, because everybody, the way Neil teaches the classes and everything, we never really tapped into that. We thought, even till now, we think it's great. We haven't changed anything of it, though, his format and the way he teaches those classes. But going back to it, I think we tapped into sales and really understanding what the customer wanted and why they were joining us was really the game changer for us, because between that and having people being an automatic payment and the CRM and really holding them accountable to really, hey, you joined us for a reason, that really was the snowballing effect that really took us to that level where people were just stayed with us longer, if that makes sense. And before, and I thought of myself as a member before. And so the way Neil and his mom had it before was that I would come in and I would pay, I'm just giving an example, I paid $100 for my membership, right? And I would come in for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I got lazy in my third week and I didn't come for 4 months. You didn't hear from them. There wasn't no call. There wasn't no withdrawal. So there wasn't no real reason for me to be like, geez, I just got this withdrawn. I might as well go. Or, you know what? I am just slacking off. I was doing so good. There wasn't none of that. And you would go back to the gym and it would be like, your payment was due yesterday and you just paid it and you just continue to go. And that was where there was the issue for them, that I saw that it was like, that's not going to work for us, you know?
So it sounds like a lot of it was just grit, putting systems in place, making sure we're selling and reselling people better into the program. What about from 60 to 130? Like, what were some of the big changes that were made in order to go from 60 to 130?
I would say presenting more of a customer experience. You know, something that we learned from you guys is right away, we already did it. We greeted customers with welcoming arms, but we never got the customer intake. And that was like a big game changer, because it helped us and the coaches give that member just that much more of a better experience. And then after the experience was over, past that, doing that handoff, right? That was a big game changer. And then with sales, us really constantly working on sales, they just went hand in hand together. And that was the big game changer, on top of making wellness calls and checking in on people, you know what I mean? And then of course, asking for referrals. Those were the things. And then making calls, 100 calls every day. All those things combined. It wasn't one thing more than the other. It was all those pieces put together that helped us shoot from 60 to where we're at now.
So the studio makes 100 calls a day. The people make 100 calls a day. What's the 100 calls? Is it company or is it a person?
It's a person.
So one person is responsible for making 100 calls. Is that in a part-time shift or in a full day?
Full day. Yeah.
So in a full day, any one person that's on the phones is making 100 calls that day minimum.
That's right.
And how many people do you have doing that?
Right now we have two.
Two. So you have 200 calls a day happening.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How many days a week?
Seven days a week.
So you're talking 6,000 calls a month?
That's correct.
Is that my math right?
Yeah.
6,000 calls a month. Now, I actually had a conversation with 9 gym owners yesterday, just like in a small group. And we were talking, the average gym in that group was making about, the low end I heard was 20 calls in a day, company-wide, 20. And then the highest I heard was 50. So it's between 20 to 50 a day. You guys were making 200. Their biggest issue was we're not getting enough people in the door. Now, for all of you guys listening and watching, imagine if you guys were making 20 to 50 calls a day and these guys are making 200. At the end of the month, let's say you average 30, you made 900 calls, they made 6,000. How are you competing with these guys? It's not happening. You can't out-talent that work. It's just not going to happen. And you guys have the talent because you guys learn all this stuff too.
Yeah.
So one of the things that always admired me about you guys, and this is, I think, the biggest driver for me to get you on the show, it's not that you guys, similar to me, I don't think you guys came from like MBA backgrounds where you had like incredible amount of education training your entire life and you hung out with the most sophisticated business people of all time. You guys just work your asses off. You learned something, you execute it, you got it done. That was pretty much a plan. I remember at GSDCON, I can't remember exactly how it happened or what was said, but I remember what you said. And you said, like, these guys keep asking me, like, what do I do? How did I get to 130K? And all I tell them is I just do the work.
Yeah.
The conferences are great. The books are great. The audio books are great. Everything is great. But if you don't do the goddamn work, you ain't going to get nowhere, man. Get to work, get it done, and grow. And
it's pretty annoying, to be honest with you, just for the simple fact that people are waiting for that magic pill or I think it's not that simple, you know, and I think that's very dangerous for business owners just for the simple fact that I remember listening to a podcast where it was Alex Harmosi and it was Andy Frisella, and he said, if you ever had lunch with us and anything, and we would know if you're bullshitting us because we're normal people. You would have a simple conversation. If you came to us and said, KPIs and this and that, like that's not the conversations we have, and that stuck to me. It's that simple, you know what I mean? It's just executing with what people teach you and they're doing and just going to do the work. But sometimes people think it sounds so simple, they just think, nah, it's got to be more. And so they don't do the simple stuff. Does that make sense? Or they try it, but they don't do it consistent enough to see the results. It's kind of like me right now with my weight. Like there was my first 4 months, I was like, I'm never gonna lose weight. You know, and it wasn't until my 5th month where I was like, oh, shoot, my body's changing. It's the same thing.
It was funny. This industry is a simple one. It like fitness is a simple business. The hard part is being consistent every day. That's the hard part. It's not super complex. We're not sending rockets to space. Mm-hmm. We're not coding AI, right? We're helping people get in the best shape of their life through our program, run the plays. Mm-hmm. The hardest part is being consistent. It's interesting. I'm reading a book right now called Sapiens. I don't know if you guys read it.
No.
It's an incredible book about the history of humans and like how we've evolved. And what it talks about a lot is how we can't help ourselves. We need to complicate things. And so an example is like, you know, we invent things. That's what we do. We create things that make our lives easier. Somehow we work more. We invented a washer, a dryer, a refrigerator, a stove. You think we'd have a lot more time on our hands with all those things in place. 50 years ago, you would send mail, right? And it would take you time to write a letter. And then you'd have to go get postage and you have to send it out. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember being kids, maybe you get 2 to 3 letters a month, like that were bills, right? Maybe 2 to 3. And maybe you'd reply back. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So then we came up with email, made our lives easy, right? We should have so much more time now. But no, now instead of 2 to 3 emails or mail pieces a month, we're doing 80 a day.
Yeah.
And if you don't respond back that day, you're wondering if the person thinks you're slacking.
Yeah.
Right. So we just tend to complicate stuff. And I think that what you were saying is the same thing. Like, look, here's a system. You have a process to generate leads. You follow up with the leads consistently. You get them in. You make sure you run through the intake and the process of the sales process. Make sure it's incredible. When it's done, present the options confidently. Help them pick the one that makes the most sense. Sign them up. Take good care of them. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say it's more complicated than that, but it's really not.
It's not.
But now that we've got those systems in there, like, all right, we should be doing some stuff on TikTok. What could we be doing? Oh, but you know what we can do? We can start getting this whole thing together with all these Dude, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So you guys have truly embodied that. When it comes down to your salespeople, you've got them working at a very, very high level. And it doesn't look like dictatorship where you're like, oh, your people are on fire. Kim, she sells over there too, right?
Yeah.
That's her thing. Kim, I remember one time she like messaged me or DM me on like Instagram or something. It was like 11 or 10 o'clock at night. And she's like, made this many sales today, or I don't know. She's like bragging about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you sent me a video of everyone on, I think it was like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It was like 8:30 at night. And everyone was calling people. You had like 5-6 people calling. But when I met them in person, I talked to them. They're echoing everything you're saying. They're like, you just got to work. You just got to put in the work. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
So I think there's a few things to take away from there. One, it's importance of finding the right people that want to put in the work.
Yes.
But you guys do that work. And because you guys do that work, it's kind of easy to fall in line.
Yeah.
It'd be different if you didn't do that work, right? And I think I look at this industry, and there's a lot of business owners that are too afraid to get in there and go pound those phones themselves. We'll do it together.
Yeah.
Right? So with the meetings that you guys have with your people, what are some of the things that you really want to get across to them? Because obviously you guys are partners.
Mm-hmm.
So your reasoning for working like animals makes all the sense in the world. You have so much at stake. You have so much to risk, right? If this doesn't work, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You can't quit. You can't just quit.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you have that conversation with your people? What are some things that you want to get across to them ongoing?
As far as what part, like for the sales
Motivation. I get them to want to put in the work.
Well, here's the thing about me. It doesn't happen in that meeting. That meeting is just touching bases of what we have going on. And we've noticed that these meetings are getting easier, simple, and quicker for us. It's an everyday thing. Every day I talk to my team. Every day I see opportunity. Every day I encourage them to do certain things. Every day I see something that they could be doing. And I'll give you a perfect example. Our Glendale location, I checked on our cameras and seeing how things were going. There was a dead class. We have a new coach that just showed up. So I asked Jen, I said, hey, Jen, open the doors, blast the music, get you and the coach, get in and start passing out flyers. Nothing better than a great looking coach, tall and Muay Thai shorts, just passing out in Glendale. She's like, it's crazy. Everybody's taking our flyers. So it's those type of things that I tell them like, hey, don't do it. This is the reason why you're going to do it. And then when I see that it works, I applaud them and I tell them, see how simple this was? Doesn't need to be complicated, but we need to put in the work. People are not going to come in through those doors. We got to be out there and showing them.
And in that example, you saw the cameras, you told her what to do, but there was a previous example. I think you told me a story where you went out there and you were like catching people on the streets, right?
Yeah.
What were you saying to them?
So there was a guy who told me, no, I'm good. And I remember telling the guys something in some format like, hey, what about if there's something happens to you over the alley and you need to protect your girl? And so they both started laughing and all this and that. And I was like, hey, you never know. You might need a class. So, little things like that where you make it fun for people to take it. And you'll be surprised. We're up to 60-something members in this location in the last 80 days or something like that, 2 months. And it's people who, oh, yeah, I got a flyer from you. Oh, yeah, I passed by and you talked to me. It works. You got to plant the seeds.
It's funny, though, what you're doing. You didn't invent something. You just did what everyone was doing before Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Right now, people have clutched you. If you started a business, if your first experience with business happened post Facebook ad explosion, you don't really think there's anything else outside of this. You're like, well, if Facebook ads isn't working, I'm in trouble. That's a problem. right? Because it's true, you could just go outside.
Yeah.
There's people there. There's people walking, especially if you pick the shopping plaza, which most of these gyms have actually picked. It's shopping plazas or shopping centers, and you've got people you can partner with. You have events. You guys do a lot of events too. What are some of the events that you've done? Because you've got some cool people, I think, come in there.
Yeah, we just did one event that was the Watermelon Festival, which got us 300 leads with 5 signups. We did, and that just cost us $300, by the way.
What was the Watermelon Festival?
It's
For everybody that does.
so it's a gentleman who does marketing who I've known for a long time, and it's just a festival that everything is made out of watermelon, beer, burgers. Like I don't know how they make it, but like they make everything is watermelon. And so he asked us, he's like, "Do you want to put a booth?" There's no gym whatsoever, and we're like, "Yeah, let's give it a try," you know. And we did it, and we got 5 memberships out of it. My platinum. So
So first off, I got to know what the next watermelon is.
okay.
Because that's my flavor. Like this is watermelon salt in here.
Oh wow.
I get watermelon gum. Watermelon's my go-to flavor. Watermelon or strawberry. It's got to be that pink red.
Yeah.
I'm not a grape guy. I'm not a yellow, whatever yellow is. What's yellow when you get a Starburst? Is that lemon? I don't know. I don't even care. And I don't even care. It's gross. Okay. So you went down there. So you guys set up a tent.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you did to really like draw attention?
So we weren't there for that event, but I know that they were doing like whoever hits
You
the
mean
pads.
you two?
Us
Like
two
your
weren't.
team.
The team was out there.
We were at a fight event. I had 2 coaches fighting, so Edwin and I, we were there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what was your team doing?
They did everything from whoever hits the pad work, things like that. They would go up against somebody else. So we would grab 2 people who were in the crowd and be like, all right, whoever hits 10 punches the first gets to spin the wheel, gets to choose something and things like that. You know what I mean? So people were loving it because they wanted to participate in all that stuff.
And you do a lot of in-gym events too, like inside of your own gym, right? Where you have
we do
lighter
seminars.
events down.
Yeah, we have seminars.
So talk about the seminars and some of the stuff that you guys do.
So we just reach out to like popular current fighters that are really, have a lot of fans, and we bring them in and give the people in our area a chance to train with some of these like world champions. We've actually had some signups from that too. Like we had a couple people came to our gym, loved the facility, loved how we greeted them, and because of that seminar, they had such a great experience. They ended up signing up with us as well from those. So we have seminars, we have just different events like for my members, to learn more about the art, making it more knowledge based, right? As opposed to just having an intense like hit style Muay Thai workout. You know what I mean? It's more about the art now. Let's teach you more techniques.
All right. So right now you guys have your second location. How difficult was it, or I guess maybe not even difficult's the word. What did you find being some differences that maybe you didn't anticipate from having the 2 locations versus just having one? Like what are some things you didn't or couldn't have anticipated as well?
I would say the main thing that we noticed first was it was a different environment. So the clientele, we had to approach them differently. That was like
What way?
They were just, because the layout's different at the second, they had a straight shoot out the door, and we realized we have to be more aggressive with our approach. We just had to come up with a different strategy to approach people. And even just like everyone said, he walked out, he thought real quick, I'm just going to walk out, start passing flyers to people. We had to think outside the box. So this location taught us that. We were trying to copy exactly what we did in NoHo in North Hollywood and what we were doing in Glendale. We realized Glendale's a different city.
Yeah.
They're more of a sleepier town. The businesses don't really start opening up till like 9, 10 a.m. So we don't really have foot traffic until around that time, but we open up at 6 a.m.
And at the other location, you have foot traffic earlier?
No, we just have a lot of visible car traffic. We're at this kind of unique spot where it's like industrial and residential. So we just have a lot of car traffic all throughout the day, constantly passing us.
So now that you've got these 2 that seem to be rather different, with the third location and on, what are some of the staples that like, okay, for the next one, we've got to have this, or this? Is there anything that you've decided on based on now seeing the uniqueness between the 2?
I don't think so. I think we're still testing things. I think our biggest obstacle right now is obviously the way we have the sit down with the customer and also the coaches and all that, and just kind of getting used to that routine. I think that's been our biggest, in a sense, a challenge of just understanding that. Just because North Hollywood location, it is just insane. Customers pour into that place.
Yeah.
Like people just call and walk in all day.
Really?
All day. Like right now, we've been out and then our phone is, we have a group chat and it's like we've had 5 platinum 1-year memberships. And we have a sub right there, an old employee who hasn't been with us for a long time, and she's just signing up people.
And North Hollywood's a new one.
That's
No-
the older one.
Oh, it's North
That's the
Hollywood.
original
That's our
one, yeah.
original.
So the old one has that flow.
It just has it.
The new one, not as much. So what is it about that flow that you know for the third location you guys can kind of copy from?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Glendale, the difference between Glendale and North Hollywood. The individual, like I don't know what to call it, but the demographic there, like it's more like people who really are like a higher bracket, tax bracket, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a higher tax bracket. When they come in there, they want to know what they're signing up. They understand, what they're getting themselves into. They understand the agreement form and all that, and they think about it. But we've noticed that most people who think about it or don't join at that time, they end up coming back.
Yeah.
As opposed to over there, it's just like, I love it. I'm going to join. You know what I mean? And it's just a different type of caliber of individuals.
Yeah.
They're both passionate. Just the other ones are just, they're just not thinking about it. They're going in there. They see that it's a huge location. You see hundreds of people there. And then over here, it's more like, all right, well, let me see. I have a conflict. I'm going here. I'm doing this. A lot of studio work, things like that. People, artists. It's just very different. So
Yeah.
these individuals think about it a little bit longer. And when they make that decision, they're committed. But they're very like when they come in, at what time they come in. And then you see at the North Hollywood, people just coming in all different hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this is why, like, we released episode, I don't know when it was, 3-4 weeks ago, about the 4 P's of marketing. You guys have heard us talk about that before. And one of them is placement, which encompasses more than just location, and encompasses the website and how people can get stuff in your studio, whether it's gloves, it's retail, subs, anything like that. But location, I mean, you if you watched enough movies, you've heard location, right? And then there's a truth to that. And we see the difference. Like, it's a lot easier when you've got 4 or 5 people coming in on a daily basis as opposed to when it isn't. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be done because, like you said, hey, you don't come here, we go to you, we come out there. And that's what you guys are doing. But man, for a lot of people that are watching it, man, it's not worth getting a discount on a location if it's going to cost you more in marketing dollars outside of it in order to get people in. Let's pay the 15-20% premium on this other spot. But if it means we're going to have a much greater flow, because that's essentially marketing. What you guys are getting out of that location is it's marketing on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you're managing 2 locations, you're overseeing 2. How has it been with managing the people? Because I think you've got Kim at one location now, you've got Jen at another location. So it sounds like you've split up people. How has that been with the camaraderie? Has it created a good, healthy competition? Has it created any type of envy around one person getting to be at this one as opposed to that one? Anything like that?
I think that with the last 48 hours, we've had some deep conversations, believe it or not. So you got us in a good time. We just said we're going to hire and hire and hire and hire. So we have a sales guy that's coming in that's getting paid top, commission, everything off the bat based off his resume and everything. But now that we've had these KPIs set up, we've had like these systems that you guys have taught us set up, but we've used them only on ourselves. We've never used them on real people who we bring on, and they're really top performers based off the interview, the culture index, what they tell us, everything, their resume and all that. And we just kind of been like, yeah, we'll do it, but we'll leave it to Jen and Kim and in-house, and we're doing it. We're like, listen, either this freaking company is going to give us freedom or we're going to continue to do this shit forever, and I'm done with it. And we all agreed. We're like, it needs to start running on its own. We can't do this shit no more. You know what I mean? It's great. And I think I had that conversation with you, and if at some point, remember, you're going to ask me something of what changed for us, and I'll tell you what it is. But we just said, this shit needs to run, because if this thing can run, then we could do a third one. But if we can't make these 2 run without us, if we can't be here like the way we are right now, and coaches are teaching and we have front desk, what's the whole point of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the whole point of it? Like, it's a tremendous amount of sacrifice we have all done in the last 5 years. But the reason we joined you guys, it's like, we're looking for that freedom and growth at the same time. That doesn't mean we're going to stop working. That's just in our DNA, but we want to do it by choice, not because we have to force to be there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times we're there because we have to be there. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's so much because we you know, it does nothing to do with the income. It has not, it's just, we just haven't pulled that trigger. Well, for some reason, we continue to do it ourselves. And it's like, it got to that point where we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're like, all right, let's start hiring. So we've just been hiring people like crazy. And we're like, if you hire this guy, hire another one, and we'll see who's the best one. And the one who's weak, we let go of that guy. If they're both great, we'll keep both of them, but hire another one, third one, and then just keep them, because it's going to give us a better view of being like, well, let's just say we hire Joe, right? And we only hire Joe. We can't distinguish how good he is, because if he's okay, we might keep him. But if we hire Joe and we hire Jack, and Joe's good, but Jack is killing it, we're going to be like, why the hell are we keeping Joe? You know what I mean? Like, he's just doing the basics, you know? And it's like, that's what we need to do. And that's why we're like, we hired coaches. We've hired like in the last 30 days, 5-6 people.
Wow. Wow. You know, one of the things that I remember you talked to me about, we were on a phone call, it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And one thing you said stuck to me, and I'm actually like adjusting processes because of it. And you said, you know, Mike, where you're at in your business and where some of us are at in our business, we really just need the strategic, tactical stuff. But some other people need a fire under their ass. They need motivation. And it made me realize that how true that was, because earlier on, when I was first getting started, like I was watching motivational videos. I was, you know, fired up more by the motivational talks at events than anything else. I was, you know, getting motivated by, it felt like almost anything, right? Just hearing a story of reading biographies of different people, whether it's Elon Musk or Benjamin Franklin, that stuff was getting me fired up. And later on, I don't feel like I needed the motivation as much as, because I had it now. Now it's just show me what needs to be done. I value that so much more. I think what I tricked myself, or maybe I just, you know, didn't understand, was that it wasn't that strategic and tactical was more important than motivation. It was just where I currently am. And so that because I had this, I wanted to always improve this. You guys are incredible. I've watched you guys motivate not just your own people. I've watched it within our GST 360 community. I've watched you motivate other people. I've watched you turn people on. I've watched people walk away from you too and be like, dude, we got another level we can reach. What are some of the things that you do to get and stay motivated, or have done in order to really start getting motivated?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to that conversation we had, because you didn't make it easy. You're still trying to convince me on why not. You're like, but I remember you were like, no, but this, no, but that, but I have these speakers and everything, and I understood what you were saying, but I was like, you got to go back to where we were.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Click.
Yeah,
it brought me back.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to go back, like where we would go. We would see a Tony Robbins or somebody, and they're great people. They're successful entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I think for me and for my team and everything, they're still in that stage. You know what I mean? They're still in that stage where they need to hear that. They need to be around that. I think it's great. I listen to it all the time. I still go to big events. I told you the other day, me and Kim, we went $10,000 seats in the front. And I explained it to you, like in, you know, Loudrumor, we needed that. I want to be in the front.
Yeah.
I don't want you to give me the front. I want to fight for the front. You know what I mean?
About that. We changed our
I heard.
Yeah.
You know,
food, all that stuff. I think
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. I'll pay triple for it. I don't care. But you know what? Those people who sit there and fight for it, it's different conversations. And you and I both know that.
Yeah.
Anyways, going back to my team, it isn't so much about it is inspirational and motivational, right? When we go to these things and we listen to it, but it's the people that you're around there that are, everybody's kind of drinking the same Kool-Aid, and they feed off of those relationships that we have. And I think Neil was mentioning it to them earlier, that that's why we go to these. It's the relationship of who we network with. I don't know how many members you have in Loudrumor, but there's like a tight knit that I have with 3 or 4 people, like Karen, Mike Littrell, and Danny. Like, we talk all the time. You know, I talked to Karen yesterday, and it's like we feed off of each other. You know what I mean? And it's the conversations are just completely different. Yeah. Completely different. And it's like that's what I go for. But you're not gonna get that in the crowd of 300 people being everywhere. You gotta get that in the front. You gotta get that in those people who are hungry. You gotta get that in the people who speak. The reason we are here, one day I was desperate. One day we had COVID, and I just hit YouTube, and Mike Littrell was talking, and he said, yeah, and I watched this whole thing, and do you remember? I was like, look, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what it is, but they got an event coming up. Do you want to go? And he's like, let's go. You know what I mean? And that's the whole purpose of it all. You know what I mean? Like this speech here is gonna motivate somebody who's watching it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, what's metrics? What's this?" I didn't sit there and be like, "I gotta list. I just got motivated from Mike's story, and I was like, I need to meet this man. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And from that led one to the other, and that's kind of what it is. It's just that seed, but everybody starts from motivation.
With that, if that's what you all want to meet with these guys, or at least their team, August 19th, August 20th, GSDCON, and then also November 4th and 5th, GSDCON.
264 people are in this room right now. You're going to learn the best strategies and tips from the best studio owners and marketers and people in the industry this weekend.
The energy, just is flowing everywhere.
And I love it. I've learned so much.
I've learned more than I could ever imagine.
We actually have time to break out, work with our teams, network with others.
Like everybody here is just so influential.
My expectations were met and exceeded.
Just excited about increasing my revenue with everything that I'm learning right here.
Coaches need coaches. And what better way to get the results you're looking for than to learn from people that have been there and done that. And that's what an event like GSDCON provides.
Be ready to learn, and you're going to get so much out of it.
I remember one of my mentors, we were talking, and he pulled up in, he's loaded, and he pulled up in an Uber, and it was like I think it was a Prius or something like that. And I go, Prius? He's like, yeah. And we had that relationship where I mess around. I go, I thought you'd be pulling up in a limo, something big, an Escalade, something like that. He's like, no, Uber Comfort. And I go, really? He goes, first class on flights though. I go, so first class on flights, Uber Comfort when you drive. Yeah, because it's by myself, but on the plane, I want to sit at the front. I want to talk to the people at the front of the plane. So if I'm by myself, I'm going first class every time because that's where the action is. And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. That changed how I do it now. If I go by myself, I fly first. But the rule is if you fly first, you're not putting your headphones on. If you fly first, you're talking to the people to the left and right of you.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, you can't read a book at first, unless they dismiss you and whatever, then I'd open it up. But that's been the rule. So I talk to people and I'll have some really good conversations up there. I met one guy, he built and sold a company for $300 million. Now, nothing that I can use. It wasn't anything like my business, but just his mentality around things. He was like, yeah, I'll probably start something else. First thing I had to do is build a team. And I go, what are you going to do? He's like, I don't know yet, but once I get a good team, we'll know. Like, wait, so you're starting with the people? Wow. And he's like, well, I know that if I start with the person, they've already got something going. I'm going to get myself into something. And then once I know that, then I can help build out the rest to really make it great. And I was just like, man, this guy, he's good. Because one thing he said, and I won't forget from that conversation, I'll never start a business again without a partner. I'll always go into another thing. And he explained why, which is really cool. But the point is, the conversation you can have up at the front, the events, same thing. Like all the events I've gone to, you find a way to sit up a little closer. And to where that would, for those of you watching, listen, you can't afford a front seat. Hey, start at the back, but find a way to talk. I remember when I started, I would wait for the speakers to come off stage. I was the first one. I dart up there and I get up there, start talking to the speaker, make friends with them, get them on our podcast, whatever we can do. Yeah. But this is the kind of conversation I wanted to have with you guys. I was hoping that it could be more of one reel, which happened a few times. I forgot these cameras were here, and this is what I would be talking about with you guys if we were just eating a sandwich right now, which you don't eat sandwiches, by the way, everybody. Edwin just lost 40 pounds. Yeah. That's what he is.
Yes.
What are you doing, by the way, for that?
So there was a couple things there was three things. I think I was telling Neil yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, or maybe it was Jen. So there's three things that happened. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Which is probably the biggest change where people take action, because health has always, for at least myself, even though I own a gym, but has always been my biggest obstacle, right? It's something that I've never been really that disciplined aside from when I was really young. Even then, I wasn't crazy. So what I did was, just like business and anything, I was like, I need somebody to train me. I need to find a coach, somebody who's going to train me, who's going to teach me how to properly work out. And then 3, I found out about macros. I needed a system and something to show me how to keep track of my macros and whatever I need to consume and how much and when I am in my max and what's good for me and things like that. So between those 3 things is what's kept me in line, because it gives me a roadmap to know, hey, if you stay on this course, that you got to get to your goal. Because what I used to do before would be like, hey, let me get In-N-Out burger, but I won't get the fries and the Coke. And mentally, I used to think like, oh, well, I'm making better choices.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like you have a burger that's 700 calories. You eat another bad meal and you cut out the fries. You're already at 1,400 calories. I'm supposed to be consuming 1,900 calories right now, you know? But we don't think like that. My brain used to tell me like, well, you're making better decisions than you were before. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're consuming and how you're eating it as best as possible. And he's told me forever, but it was kind of like that parent effect where like, yeah, mom, yeah, dad. And I just wouldn't listen until finally I just got sick and tired. And I was like, I got to find the resources that's going to get me there.
So I'm going to ask this to close this out here because I want to know, you two are unique. I want to know what's something weird about him. You're like, yeah, I think that Edwin does is weird. It's like a weird thing that he does. It's only the Edwin thing. Or what's something weird that Neil does? Something unique, something that stands out that you're like, yeah, when I found out, I thought it was a little weird.
I'm going to say this guy is a really picky eater, but when you ask him, oh, I'm not picky, bro. I'm not picky. He's so picky.
Is it
He's
true?
so picky.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I ate everything. Honestly.
Oh, like I'll give you a great example. So he's like, bro, I don't like garlic. I'm like, but you like Thai food. You eat Thai
I
food
don't
all the
eat
time.
garlic.
And he's like, but there's no garlic in the food I eat in Thai. I'm like, yes, there is. I'm like, you just don't realize it because you like the food. I was like, you like garlic? He's like, no, I don't, bro. No, I don't. So little things like that.
So that's your picky eater.
Yeah.
How about him?
Honestly, sometimes I think he's a robot. He is, and I say this in an amazing way. He is one of the most disciplined people that I've ever met in whatever it is that he likes, loves, and is going to be beneficial mentally and physically for him. And sometimes I don't understand how he doesn't break. You know, once it, like you said, you just came back and you kind of like walled out a little bit. He won't, it doesn't matter where he's at. He won't do that. He makes great decisions, whether he's on vacation, whether he's at the gym, whether it doesn't matter, like his exercise, his eating, his reading, his sleeping. It's like, it's always on point. It never breaks. Once in a while, it's rare if you see a hiccup, but it's like either somebody forced him or there was like no other option. But like, even if there is, like, he just doesn't break.
So like you won't have like 3-4 slices of pizza.
No. I can put food down, but I choose not to.
Wow.
And you ask him, you tell him, like, he's like, I like that stuff. It tastes amazing. Yeah. He's like, don't get me wrong, it tastes amazing. I want to make better decisions from it. I mean, he doesn't break. Like,
so what's like going crazy for you? Food wise.
Right.
What's a crazy
celery sticks? Like,
going crazy. I'm trying to think. I love Pazookies, Mike. I love Pazookies. If you don't know what a Pazookie is, it's a baked cookie at BJ's, baked cookie with ice cream on top. I could go crazy on those. So
so that'll be the one.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was wondering where that would be. I was watching. You guys will watch Jerry Seinfeld's coffee, whatever it is. He had Larry David on, who's the writer of Seinfeld, and he basically just said everything you said about him. Like he's very strict with his food. He doesn't go crazy. And Jerry Seinfeld asked, he goes, so what's going all out for you? Like, what's a crazy meal? And he goes, crazy? He goes, yeah. He goes, you got half a bag of cashews. He's like, I'll destroy cashews. I was like, that's still not that crazy. Yeah. He's like, what about pizza? He's like, yeah, no, never. No, maybe one piece. That's it. Yeah. Okay. I will say, guys, I've had a really, really good time getting to know you guys. I would say, I don't know, you guys might not, but I would say you guys are good friends of mine now. Like, I really enjoy having conversations with you. I feel a level of trust with you guys. I would trust you guys with my team. I welcome you guys in my house for a reason. Like, I felt like, well, you didn't come to that.
I had to be at MTK.
It's okay. Next time. But no, you guys are just good people, and you guys take care of your people, which are also good people. And that's why you guys, along with the hard work and following process, you guys are doing so well. So I'm excited for this episode to come out. I'm excited to do more with you. I'm sure I'm going to do more. Every time you get a location, we just do another one. That should be like the celebration. Every time you open the location, we'll do another show.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So we do like 2 a year.
Yeah. I like it.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
So much, man.
Thank you so much, Mike.
And for everybody watching, everybody listening, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos.